That's all you get. Oh, God, that's loud. That's all you get right there. Yeah, I know. She's going to cut it today, I hope. I hope she's going to cut it today. Oh, excuse me. Squeeze me. Here we go.
Are you just trying to navigate adulthood in a world that still expects you to have it all figured out? Welcome to This Is 50 with your host, Travis Holmes.
I worked for Home Depot for over 20 some odd years. And part of the Home Depot way is you always look for thievery. And when I say thievery, they always say, make sure that you are doing good customer service. So, the people in Home Depot, if they're saying, hi, how are you type deal, it's not because they're trying to help you. It's because they think you're a thief for the most part. But no, I mean, if you give good customer service, it'd be less likely that someone would walk in your store, unattended, unaware, thinking that they can get away with anything. So that mindset has always been instilled in my mind. What to look for, who to look for. I don't want to say stereotypes, but stereotypes are in there as well. And I love doing that. I loved in my departments, because I was a manager of several different departments, I'd make sure that my, what they call shrink, was one of the lowest. And it usually was, because I was on top of people, on top of things. That's a bad way to say it. But, and that mentality is still in my mind when I go to stores, when I go anywhere. Even my wife. I'm like going, see that guy over there? He's up to something. What do you mean? I'm like, watch. There he goes, right out the door. Told you, called it. How do you see these things? I'm just sitting here worried about what shoes I'm going to pick out or what shoes are the best style and stuff. I'm like, babe, my head's always on a swivel. Always on a swivel. I'm always aware of my surroundings. And I see these people, especially in Walmart. And this is what happened today, and I'll get into the story in just one sec. Especially, when you're out shopping and stuff. You got to pay attention to everyone around you, because it could be, just like that, someone pull out a gun or do something crazy, blah, 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 mass shooter, boom, explosion, that type of stuff. I should have been a spy. Not a spy, but one of those secret agent guys that notices everything. You ask a room full of 100 men, and they say, would you rather be a millionaire or a secret spy? And 80% of them would say a secret spy, because the money would come eventually. The shallow people would say, I want to be a millionaire. I don't want to do anything. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm at Walmart today. Now we broadcast every Friday. And to get you ready for the weekend type deal. And as soon as I walk in the store, I've got a pattern that I go. I'm like, all right, I'll go buy all the hygiene stuff, get my soaps, get my toothpaste, toothbrush if I need it, mouthwash, shampoo if I need it. Walk my way through the seasonal section, and seasonal section is usually like the gardening stuff. And then my Walmart has the shittiest outside garden area. I mean, it's like desert. It's a desert out there. They got like 4 grills, busted bags of fertilizer, and then pallets of overstock stuff just wrapped up. It's not even an outside garden. I don't even know why they have a door there, because they have an exit door to go in and out of the garden section. And I saw a pile of fertilizer. Now, this is the time of year where usually fertilizer goes clearance, because they have nowhere to house that stuff. So I'm like, ooh, pallet of fertilizer. Let's see how much I can steal these bags for. Not literally steal the bags. Hold on. What happened? Let's go back to me. Sorry. A little behind the scenes there. And so I see this big pallet, and it's normally $65 or $68. It's Scott's Bonus S2 weed and feed. Now $40. I'm like, oh man, that's still a lot. I don't want to pay $40 for something I don't care about. And as I'm standing there, this girl probably weighed 80 pounds, crackhead looking girl, but still had like her eyelashes. She didn't have any of the pulling pop marks on her face yet. She had a haircut that was normal. It wasn't all straggly or anything. And her clothes weren't stained yet. Like homeless, like I've been sleeping in these clothes. So I kind of look at her and watch her as I've got my phone. I'm trying to scan how much these bags of fertilizer is. And I watch her out of the corner of my eye, and she's like heading towards the exit door. There's a door to go into the garden section, and then a door going out into the parking lot. And I look at her cart, and she's got perishables in it. Bread, Gatorade, detergent, fake eyelashes for some reason, because I'll get into the story here as it progresses. And I'm like, and I know in my mind the garden section is on the total other opposite of where the food stuff is. And I'm looking at her cart, and she has nothing from this side of the store. So she's kind of like, you can tell that she's pretending that she's looking around. There's nothing out here, girl. There's nothing but a busted grill, a bicycle that's fallen over from Christmas, some busted bags of fertilizer, and then a bunch of dying plants. That's all that's out here. There's nothing in the garden section. Oh, they got a pallet of like charcoal and smoking pellets or something like that. And that's it. There's nothing out here in this garden section. Garden section is probably 1,000 square feet. So she starts walking to the exit door. And I'm like, oh, here she goes. She's going. I'm watching her. I'm pretending that I'm reading the bag of fertilizer. I'm watching her. I'm like, here she goes. Now, I did not see this. My keen eagle eye expertise. I did not see that there was someone sitting in a chair by that exit door. And kudos to him. He was kind of blended in. He kind of just parked himself right behind a pallet of charcoal. You really couldn't see him. Charcoal and stuff was about 5 feet away from him. You didn't see him until you got right up on the exit door. Big black guy. Young black guy. Big black guy. Dreads. And just sitting in his chair. I mean, he's probably 300 pounds, and he's, messing with his phone or whatever. I see her. She goes and then I can see her stop abruptly. Now, I can't see the guy that she's talking to yet. So I just kind of go, kind of peek around. Who's she talking to? Sure enough, it's the Walmart employee just sitting there. It's his shift to watch that door because he's got one of those the lime green vest on, like he gets shopping carts. All right, Terrell, go over there and watch the exit door for a little bit. Oh, all right, man, I can do that. Sit in the chair. So then she turns around. Oh, she asks him something. Oh, where's the and makes up something. That's what crackheads do. Makes up something. He's like, yeah, it's over there. So she walks over there. Then she sees me. Huh. I'm watching her, though. I'm watching her. And she's looking at some busted up wheelbarrow, something like that, like she's going to fucking buy it. And looking in her shopping cart. Again, I'm looking at her, and it's got loaf of bread, fake eyelashes, a thing of, like an 8-pack of Gatorade bottles, laundry detergent, and I was kind of looking at other stuff. I'm like, none of this stuff matches. This is all random shit that you need for whatever camp that you're going to. This is not household stuff. This is camp stuff. This is homeless people stuff. Deodorant. So I made an effort to meet her to go at the sliding doors that go back into the store. I made an effort. Oh, she's moving. All right, I'm going to go move. And I've got nothing in my cart. Like I said, I just got there. She walks in, and now when you walk in the store, now you're back in the seasonal section where they've got like the garden hoses and sprinklers and the ant killer and all that stuff. And she can't make up her mind which direction she wants to go. And I'm standing behind her. I'm like going, and she sees me, and she's like going, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like going, pick a direction, girl. I said, let's go. So she picks some odd direction, walks down the aisle, and she's kind of doing this whole looking at something but trying to keep me in her peripheral. I said, let me go fuck with her. So I go on the back of the aisle, and she's on one side of the aisle, and she's way down there, and she's looking at like 2-in-1 or 2-cycle oil. Right. What are you going to do? Put that on your bread sandwich there? And she's looking at like string trimmer stuff, and I'm like going, all right. So I get something. Someone was on clearance. I wanted it. Put it in my cart, and I push the shopping cart, and then I leave my shopping cart at the front of the aisle because this is what they do. You try to fool them. She sees my shopping cart. She's like, okay, I'm going to make a run for it because she thinks I'm LP, loss prevention. So she makes a beeline, And I come around without my shopping cart, and boom, right in the middle of the aisle again, I catch her again. Oh, and she's like, nothing. So I want her to stress a little bit. So I just kind of pretend like, oh, shampoo. Wonder what the ingredients of the shampoo is, as I'm looking past the shampoo and watching her freak out because I'm standing behind her. Not behind her, but, 20 feet from her, watching her. And then after that, I'm like going, what am I fucking doing? What am I doing? You don't work here. But I just like to see that. I wanted to see their mentality. I'm a historian as far as people's, what their motivation and their reaction, their character. I like to see that. I like to read people and see, okay, what are they doing? And try to figure them out and type stuff. And I said, what are you doing? What are you doing, dummy? You've got shopping to do. It's already almost 11:30. Get done with your day, all right? And I said, if I see her halfway through the store, I see her halfway through the store, so on and so on. So I just thought it was funny. I like doing that. I like stressing those people out because they know that I'm watching them. What you watching me for? Never got that. Never got like confrontative. I never had someone come up to me and what you looking at? Cracker? No, that never happened. But so that was my morning. That was the start of my day. I know. Simple little stuff. Don't you got something better to do? Yeah, this is my entertainment. And this right here, this show, This is 50, is my therapy session. So when we come back, when I was leaving the store, I got a whiff of something. And this smell, I was like, oh, I love that smell. And I'll dive into what that actual smell is that brings me back. It just reminisces of things in my mind. So stick around. I'll be right back. I have been doing my daily walk in the morning. It's usually around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. Go down and feed the horses and stuff. And then I start my walk. 3 miles. It's just over 3 miles. Takes me about 57 minutes to do that. And the way I know that is because I got a little tracker that says 1 mile, estimated split time, 17 minutes and 13 seconds. So I do 3 miles and stuff. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I don't drink any soda, which is, I don't know, for whatever reason, I just lost the whole taste of soda. Diet soda, no matter what, diet soda, regular soda, all that stuff. I really haven't had a desire to have that. I do still have a desire to have these if you're watching this on the YouTube channel. That's why I had to get back from grocery shopping. It's cutting it close here. 12 o'clock somewhere, right? But what I drink in the morning or during the day and stuff, I've got a big old 24-ounce sippy cup, like one of the Stanley cups, but better. And I usually fill it with ice, water, and then I spray lemon juice in there. Squirt lemon juice in there. And then recently I've been doing like the Mios just to give it a little kick, a little bit of electrolytes and stuff, because I do go for a walk, 3 mile walk, and I burn about, my phone says 700 and something calories. So I don't know if you can see it on my face. I'm down around, I don't know where I'm down at, 270, 269, something like that. But I'm 6'2", so I mean, it's not like a 5 foot and 400 pounds type guy. I hold it. I carry my own. I'm intimidating, like to that crackhead. But Gatorade's come out with a tablet. You ever seen those Airborns where you drop them in, or a Alka-Seltzer, you drop them in your water and they just kind of fizz up and boom, you've got whatever it is. And they were doing, the reason why they made these tablets is because, well, don't they have those little single serve ones? Yeah, they do. You can buy them, but then you're cutting a single serve packet, and then landfill and people want to complain about, all these little packets are ending up in the landfill. So they made these like press little wafers. Gatorade has. And they're pretty cool. Drop them in, they fizz up, and I've been using them. So if you're wanting something, a little bit better for you, because I look in there, there's 0 calories and a little bit of sodium in it, but you need that when you're dehydrated. Or not dehydrated, but you're doing some kind of workout and stuff. You just drop the tablet in there. It says a 16 to 20 ounce. I've got, like I said, a 24 ounce. I think it might be a 28 ounce. You put one tablet in there. I'm like, God damn, this thing's strong. But if I look at it, I think there's one of those little pill break lines on it where you can just snap it in half and throw it in. I just fucking throw the whole thing in there. When I was leaving Walmart after chasing this girl around, the Walmart really doesn't have like a smoking section, like for their employees. They just kind of smoke outside the door. Doesn't bother me. You could smoke all day long. My wife, when I met her, used to smoke. The only time she smoked was to and from work. And then, of course, you know, like most smokers will have one during a cocktail. She never smoked once she got home, as long as she wasn't like having a wine or anything like that. And she quit cold turkey. When she got promoted to a certain level, she's like, I can't let this, and she's holding up the cigarette, you know, ruin or rule my life. So she just quit cold turkey. She was never one. She'd buy a pack of Marlboro Lights or Marlboro Mediums, whatever they're called now, to be politically correct. She would buy a pack and it would last her almost like 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. But there's something about and I even told my wife this, there's something about that first light up of a cigarette. When I smell it, it's so relaxing. It's like I've smoked for, 20, 30, 50 years or whatever. It's so just, that smells so good. And I get jealous when I see like foreign movies or people that are from like other countries and they smoke a cigarette and they, they're not, ow, where's that gold? Where's that, whatever, and they're not panicking, like cops, like beat cops smoking cigarettes and stuff. They're always like in a like a foreign film, not a foreign film, but people that are foreign smoking in movies, they always go, I wonder what Antonio's doing tonight. And then they'll hand the cigarette to their spouse or loved one, and they go, I know, it's been a while since I've seen Antonio. And then they'll hand it back. They'll share a cigarette back and forth. It's like a relaxing. It's like sharing a joint, but not the same sense. That smell to me, that first strike, that first, when that paper burns, if you pack the cigarette good enough. I know everyone out there who's recovering non-smokers like, shut up, man. When you pack your cigarettes and you got that first, less than a quarter of an inch of paper before it actually hits the tobacco, and you light that paper and you smell that little gunpowder ring that's on there, and you smell that, and then the first puff, and you're like, I go, man, that smells so good. And then, you're halfway down, you're smoking all the way down to the butt. That stinks. I can't stand that. I worked in bars for many, many years. I can't stand the smell, like when I come home, of the cigarettes on me. My wife, she never really smoked enough to where her mouth tasted like, oh, you're kissing an ashtray. She never smoked enough where that would happen. And like old, wet, dirty smoke people, people just smoke all the time. Disgusting. It's that first smell, that first light of the cigarette, maybe a puff or two after that. And then after that, I'm like going, oh, this kind of stinks. Let's get out of here. I think it's because my dad growing up, he always smoked. He's 78 years old, smoked probably 50, he says 50 years. He was probably smoking at 18. So that you're talking about, 60 some odd years there. And when it was, when he was awake and sober enough to work around the house and do things, I'd be involved. I want to help, little 5-6-year-old boy. I want to help my dad. He's big and strong and blah, 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 blah. And he would smoke. He would light a cigarette, and he had an old Zippo lighter. And you open that Zippo lighter, and that first smell, that Zippo, the butane would come out. You smell that. And then he would light a cigarette, and he would smoke Winston. He'd flip it, close the Zippo lighter, take a drag off of it, and then he was like, all right, kid, grab me a screwdriver, or do something, get away from me, kid, you're bothering me, that type deal. Papa. But that first smell, I guess, brings me back to that. I guess that's the emotional sensory contact that I had or have with my father. He doesn't know that. But it's just because, men and boys and fathers and stuff, there's a lot of, I'm never going to be like my old man type deal. There's always a separation of men, fathers and sons and stuff. And my dad and I are no different. We have absolutely nothing in common. But just that smell will remind me of when I, wanted to hang around with my dad and help him do stuff around the house. And he'd be like, "You're fucking shit up, kid." He would never cuss, but still, "You're fucking shit up." So that was it. I mean, that smell. I mean, that smell just brings me back. It was a peace. It was relaxed. It's like a security type smell that I had. That reminds me of being a kid and stuff. My wife she works late. And I try not to watch movies or anything without her, because she'll, I'm done for the day, 7:00. I go in and eat. She's still at work in the corporate office, or she's still working in her home office here. And she doesn't come to bed till like, 9:30 or something like that. So I got like 2.5 hours of just me staring, after I eat, what am I going to watch type deal. And I'll dive into what I started getting into because, and the reason why I started getting into it. So stick around. I'll be right back. A guy I went to high school with. Well, I say high school. A guy I went to elementary school with, and then because of where we lived in Orlando, and this neighborhood and this neighborhood all went to the same junior high, but then when it came to high school, this neighborhood went to this high school, and this neighborhood went to this high school. And I don't think he has any kids. If he does, they're older. I don't know his history behind him. I just know he's a friend of mine on Facebook. And yeah, we used to do the skateboarding thing. It was the 80s. You did the skateboarding thing, and you had skateboard parties and so on and so forth. He's the one, his mom actually introduced me to the Cool Ranch Doritos, which damn her. I can sit there and eat a whole bag by myself. Oh, can you really? Oh, surprise. But so he's been cool. He had a restaurant for a while. I forget what kind of restaurant it was, like a tea and kettle and deli type restaurant in a strip mall. And I guess, I don't know, times are tough and things went bad, and he ended up getting a job at Publix or something like that, and he's now the manager, deli manager, background and stuff. And I saw him, he was dating this one girl, and I was like, I think I know that girl too. Didn't they all go to high school together, and so on and so forth. And then he showed a picture the other day that he's moved to, out of state or somewhere, and I bought a house. Well, congratulations, cool. Mazel tov. It's tough when you're 50 years old and trying to get your act together, and if you're not married, applying for a loan, and hopefully you got enough financials behind you, and you haven't been married 3 or 4 times, and the missus didn't bankrupt you or corrupt you, or you had to file whatever and your credit's good. There was a guy in Home Depot that I worked with, and I'll get back to my friend that just bought the house. There was a guy I worked with in Home Depot, good looking guy. And I say good looking guy, he was a big guy. He just lost all hope of life and all that stuff. But he's just you could tell his facial structure, good looking guy, great eyes, great mustache, great beard. He was a good looking guy. You don't look at him and go, "Whoa, get away from me, creeper." If you saw him, you're like, he looks kind of cool. Let's go talk to him. He seems like he'd be fun. Absolutely loves his daughter. Now he's married. Absolutely loves his daughter. I see pictures of him and his daughter all the time. They're doing so much stuff together. He really, really is passionate about making sure that he does daddy time with his daughter, which is great. And he's still married and still has his daughter. Everything's good. There's nothing bad there. But working at Home Depot, sometimes stores will send you to other stores for clinics and lessons, and they're always about product knowledge, and different companies will sponsor and buy you lunch or cook lunch for you, and you have this big orientation of 50 people in a room, and just people from all over stores. So you get to learn, who's in your area, and you can get, work done between the stores and all the background stuff that you don't know that goes on at Home Depot. So this one girl sitting in front of me with her 2 other friends, and they're talking, and I'm sitting there, I'm just sitting there with my store, the couple people that came from my store. I'm sitting there and we're all connecting, and the one girl looks like, man, God, I hope he doesn't listen to this show. Looks like, if you're watching this on the video here, her eyes, her eyes are like, you ever seen like the Muppets, and they can take their, because the eyes are just Velcroed on. There's just, a googly thing, and they just kind of Velcro it off. And there was a scene, I think, somewhere where they took Bert's eyes off and turned them like 30 degrees and stuck them back on his head, and he had like these weird eyes that were like slanted. This girl had those eyes, and she had a huge, what they call like a dick nose. Oh God, I hope he does not listen to the show. I have to go check. Anyways, her nose, and when I say dick nose, her nose is so far down that it actually touches her top lip. That's sideways here. And her teeth are all fucked up. I mean, braces is not, you can't even start there. You'd have to completely level the ground and start from scratch. Big jaw, underbite, and I'm like, phew, man. What store are you from? Oh, cool. She asked me what store I was from. I said, I'm from, whatever store. She's like, oh, my husband works there. And I go, oh, really? In my mind, I'm like going, oh God, who are you matched up with at our store? And she goes, and she says the gentleman's name, and I go, let's say Tommy. You're Tommy's wife? Yeah, we've been married for, 6 years or 7 years. We have a daughter and all this stuff. And I go, you are Tommy's wife. You and Tommy. You're together. Yeah. Why? You know him? Oh yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know him. He works down at the other end of the store. I don't see him a whole lot, but then Facebook comes out, and like I said, I seen him and the pictures of the dog, and sure enough, that's his wife. And I just kind of go, no, they don't look like they belong together. Now, if you were to see pictures of me and my wife, or anyone out there besides me and my wife, you look at your significant other, or you look at 2 people out there in the normal public and stuff, and you're like going, oh, look, those 2 look like they belong together. They look like they've spent a whole lot of, even elderly couple, they look like they've spent a lot of time together. They've kind of morphed into this one unit where they kind of look alike somewhat. If you look at me and my wife basically had the same taste in clothing. We had the same taste in, like, I have not now, but a very modest haircut. She's very modest. She doesn't wear a whole lot of makeup. She's got a natural beauty to her. She does a little bit with her hair. Her clothes aren't, runway model. It's very rare that she wears a dress, but it's very rare that I wear a dress either. But that I dress up or get all fancied up. We all dolled up. We are level. And you know those couples out there, and you see them, you're like going, they look like they belong together. I don't know what happened with these 2. They made a beautiful daughter. The daughter is cute. Thank God it took on his mannerisms and structure features and stuff. But holy Jesus, I'm like going, now I don't know how he feels, and I'm trying to put 1 and 2 together here. I don't know how he feels about his wife. I don't know if this was his first love and it was a shotgun wedding. You knocked her up, but it's not that way, because they take pictures and they go out and they do stuff together. I know what you're saying. God, Travis, you're so shallow. She might be a beautiful person inside. Yes, she is a beautiful person inside. On the outside, she is, I don't want, be careful here. I would not have pictured the 2 of them together at all. because she looks like a retarded Muppet. I'm sorry. I'm saying it. I know he doesn't listen to the show. I hope no one listens to the show. If they know what's good for them. I always put warning. Friends and family are not allowed to listen to the show. This is my therapy. I have to tell someone. I have to talk to you, and that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you guys, so I appreciate you guys listening. So if you see him walking around Home Depot, don't ask for him. But back to my friend that was in high school. He was dating this one girl. She was cute, and I was like going, you're dating, I think her name, let's say Patricia. Let's say Patricia. Patricia. Oh, that might be your name. I don't know. I just made her. And all of a sudden, she's gone. Boop. I'm like, they were cute. They, together, look like they belong to each other. He's this, aging skateboarder guy. She's kind of, if you know what rockabilly is, with the Buddy Holly glasses, the short little pixie haircut, and, kind of, wearing like the Bad Brains t-shirt and was into the whole scene. I'm like those two look like they belong together. Now, I didn't know her personality. I don't know his personality since high school. I don't know. I mean, Christ, we're 50 some odd years old, and that was 30 some odd years ago. Who knows? He might be some kind of Nazi Hitler regime guy. I don't know what his personality is. But then, all of a sudden, she's not in the picture anymore. The little Patricia girl. And I'm like, all right. I didn't ask. Just kind of, hey. And he's like taking pictures of him by, eating lunch by himself out in the parking lot and eating lunch, doing things by himself and gathering with friends. And I don't see her in the picture anymore. Then about a year later, I see someone, female, in the picture with him. And I kind of go, I honestly thought, is that your aunt? Because she looks older than him. I didn't say anything. I was like, oh, maybe that's his aunt. Maybe he's out, it's a niece's birthday and he's celebrating. Here's my aunt. And then it kept going on and on. I kept seeing more pictures of the two of them and more pictures and more pictures. And I'm like going, oh, man. And then I see having dinner with the love of my life. And I see the picture of her. And I see a picture of him. And I go, come on, man. I said, you're a good-looking guy. Now, again, Travis, she could probably have the heart of an angel. She could probably be the most interesting, the most heartwarming, most loving person in the world. And you're judging her based on her looks? Yes. Remember I said I love to watch and look at people and see what mannerisms and figure out who they are and what their thing is and all that. And you look at the two of them and they look like they don't belong together. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up, remember I said he just moved out of state and bought a house? So then on his Facebook page, just said recently, updated his status, his single relationship status, says married to this person who I thought was his aunt. And they've been married since 2023. I said, what the hell happened there? I didn't see any photos. I didn't see any, we kind of eloped. We wanted to, I wanted to nail that shit down. Because I texted him, I'm like, oh, you bought a house with whatever her name is? Let's say Donna. Donna, you bought a house with Donna? Yeah, I want to lock that down. And we bought a house. And I'm like, all right. But when you look at couples, sometimes you just go, and my wife hates it. She's like, you're so judgy of people. Yes, I know. I'm very observant of people. Not judgy, and judgy too, but I was just like, ooh, I wonder how people look at me and my wife, or my wife and I. Because I think we fit perfectly together. And that's the only reason why I married her. Outside of that, I love her and I think she's a beautiful person, but I think she is mine. She is in my field. They always say, dating outside of your whatever. My aunt actually, when she came over, said, I'm really surprised. My dad's sister-in-law, bitch. She said, who would have thought that Travis would have gotten married and married up? And I said, I think that's the rudest thing you've ever said to me. I said, you know nothing about my wife. And this is right after my mom passed away. I might have said this a long time ago, but I'll bring it up again. I said, you have no idea. You've never met my wife. You've never been to you didn't come to our wedding. We invited you. You have no idea who my wife is. How do you know that she didn't marry up with me? Well, I didn't mean it that way. Well, tough shit, you said it. All right? So, for the rest of your stay here, don't fucking talk to me. So, I know. That I mean, there you have it. There you have it on that one. My neighbors, yeah, those neighbors with the karaoke party, we get along pretty good, but I think we kind of misread each other the other day. I don't know if I said something wrong, because I'm kind of loose with the lips when I start drinking ships here. And I'll dive into, was I wrong? And I want to know your take on, was I wrong? And if you guys ever want to contact me or contact the show or anything, we have This is 50 Show Facebook page. So you're welcome to go over there and join. You can see all the different pictures and stuff about stuff I talk about. Can I say stuff again? About all the things and stories that I talk about here on the show. So make sure you like us over on the Facebook This is 50 Show. And I'll dive into what I'm calling the Mulch Wars. So stick around. I'll be right back. So last break, I started off by telling you that I do something different at night when my wife's at work or working, and I wanted to pay that off here. What I've been doing is watching. I sit there, and it's the end of my day, and I've got a cutoff time. Believe it or not, I've got a cutoff time for when I stop working here in the studio. Now, some of you people out there might know, some of you might not know, I do several different podcasts out of this studio. And this one's mine. This is 50's mine. This is my therapy from the week. Just to be able to talk. I can't talk about this stuff to my wife because she is very, I don't want to say liberal. She's just left the center a little bit as to where I'm almost, not all the way right. I like to listen to both sides and fair and balanced type deal. I try to be as fair and balanced as I possibly can. But I do have my own personal values. And if something encroaches on those values, then that's when I step up and say no. Or yes, or whatever. So as far as therapy and stuff, when I'm done here, I cut everything off at 7 o'clock. I stop. I put these down. I do my nightly chores. I make something to eat. It takes about 20 minutes for me to throw something in the air fryer, pop it out. And then I sit in the bedroom. We have a big old, I think it's a 55-inch flat screen TV in there. And I got a real nice, huge, like leather loved chair, loved seat that I can sit there and with a TV tray and eat so I don't bother anyone else in the house. I'm in my bedroom. Or in the bedroom, got a nice sound bar, so the sound's real good. And then when I'm done eating, I can literally, like the show Friends, I can curl my legs up, and my whole entire body sits in the chair. Just kind of curl up like I'm reading a book or something. It's getting to the point where, as I'm waiting for my wife to get done with work or finishing up work or wrapping up work, I'll flip through shows. Family Guy, I used to watch Family Guy all the time, Bob's Burgers and all that stuff. I don't, right now, the older I get, the less patience I have for these shows. I'm finding that out now. And then I said, well, let me try another series. Let me see if I can find a TV series that I can tolerate. So I think I started watching, I've never seen 30 Rock. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's like going, yeah, you got to watch 30 Rock. The whole Alec Baldwin thing, and that's coming around and that's trending again. So I started watching 30 Rock, and I got like halfway through the first episode, and I go, this is not for me. This is dumb. I'm not enjoying this. And then I found something else. I started watching. I'm like, this is dumb. I'm not watching this. I said, why am I bothering myself? Why am I boring myself with these TV shows and stuff? Why don't I do something that will better myself, educate myself? So I've been watching like just random documentaries. Oh, this one about shoelaces? Sure, let's watch that. Well, what about this one where the guy has a lawsuit against Michelin tires? Sure, I'll watch that. Learn a little bit, have a little bit of conversation, a little bit more table talk, when I'm out in public, which is only on Fridays when I'm chasing down a would-be thief at Walmart. So that's what I've been doing. I've been watching documentaries. I watched the one about Did Jennifer Do It or something like that, where she had her mom, she was a Filipino family, had her mom and dad killed. Well, we found that, not the spoiler, but that's kind of where they were going with it. But how she did it and what she did and why she did it and all that. I also was watching, I was watching something last night, and I was watching Epcot, because I'm from Orlando, Florida, and how they came to be with Epcot. And it was it's an Epcot documentary made from, Disney, so it's kind of non-biased, or biased, as far as, and we saved all this money to do all this work and all this stuff. And that was kind of cool to watch that, but that's what I've been watching. Like late at night, I've been watching documentaries. What do you guys watch? Like if you're alone by yourself in a small, dark room, no one around. But so that's what I've been doing. I've been watching documentaries. Last night I was in the middle of a documentary, or the second episode of the documentary, and my wife comes in. She's like, okay, I'm all done working. I'm like, oh, really? It's 8:30. Already done? She's like, yeah. Do you want to watch Big Brother? Yes, I do. Now, I applied for Big Brother a long time ago. Never got on it, but that was back in 2017, somewhere around there. I'm waiting for that phone call to come around. So we're watching Big Brother now, and you'll probably hear me talk about that here later in the future episodes. But yeah, I've been watching documentaries. I enjoy them. I enjoy watching them and learning a little bit. They got to be done well. That's the thing. They got to be done well. And the one that I started was from Jason Blumhouse, where it was the worst roommate ever, and it goes through like 4 or 5 different stories. That one's pretty good. So if you don't know who Jason Blumhouse is, he's the one who did he does a lot of horror movies. I don't want to say low budget. They spend a little bit of money and they make a whole lot of money at the box office. So Blumhouse Productions does one called like The Worst Roommate Ever or something like that. My neighbors, yes, those neighbors, Jebediah and all them next door. No, they're good. They're good people. But you ask yourself, how honest is the good feeling? How they can't be that good. There's something in the closet somewhere. There's skeletons somewhere. I never see the kids out after sunset. I never see, this and that. And if the kids are outside, it seems like I never see the parents. And they've got 6 kids. 3 still live at home, and the other 3 have either gotten married, going to college, or moved out and got their own job. But I never see the parents outside when the kids are outside playing. I see the kids outside with the parents, but they're working all the time. They like to grow their own food and so on. I digress. So the neighbors have goats. They have ducks. They have chickens. And then for some odd reason, I know the reason, I'll get into that, is they have one goose. The goose that's got the little bulb right on the up by the eyes of the beak. And I said, how the hell did you get a goose? They said, well, when we ordered duck eggs, I guess in the hatchery, a goose egg kind of rolled on the conveyor belt, and we actually, hatched a bunch of ducks, and all of a sudden one of them was kind of weird looking. He ended up being a goose. So I said, that's kind of funny. Because when we come out in the morning, we usually, because we have chickens and stuff here, I go out there, and my dad lets them out and stuff, and they don't let their chicken, when I say let them out, we have a chicken house that's fenced in. So you open up the chicken house, the chickens come out in the fenced in area, and then you open up the fence, and then they can go out through the whole entire yard. They have the same setup over there. And it's funny because they don't let their chickens out until the sun is completely up, which is fine. They can do whatever they want. But you hear all the ducks over there. And then in the middle of that, you'll hear a and it, in my mind, I just laugh every time I hear it because all you hear is all these ducks going, quack, 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 quack. And I just picture, my years in the bar and listening to people laugh and have a good time. And then that one guy just goes, so I hear the one goose make the noise in the middle of all these ducks. It's just hilarious. I thought it was funny to me. Well, just recently, I think they got like 20 ducks. One of the ducks has flown the coop, lack of a better term. She's flown over the fence onto our property. Now, we don't have a whole lot of like rigid lines and fences and, stockade and, heads on spits on the property line. It's just kind of open, but their fenced in area is different than our fenced in area. And all of a sudden, I'm like going, hey, we have a duck over here. My wife's like, what? I said, yeah. I said, one of the neighbor's ducks is over here. So I text my neighbor, hey, you got one of your ducks over here? And he's like, well, he's a pilot. So he's like, I'm in Nevada. I'll let the kids know. All right. Kids come over, try to get the duck. I'm like, dude, just leave the duck. He'll come back over in the middle of the night. You don't have to do it now. I'm just letting you know. If you're missing a duck, we have the duck over here. So this goes on for 3 weeks. 2 weeks, let's say 3 weeks. So I started calling them Quackers. Here goes Quackers. Quackers, what are you doing? And his little tail. You ever seen ducks get excited? Their little tail, they wiggle it back and forth like a dog. Can't pick him up. Can't get near him. But he knows who. Quackers. So the reason why I bring this up is the other night we had a bad rainstorm. Huge rainstorm. And then it stopped right before the sun went down. Now, believe it or not, chickens know when the sun goes down. On my side of town. I think I got a song there. They will work their way up. They'll work their way to the chicken house and then walk up the ladder, big long ladder, walkway, plank to get into the chicken house, and then I'll lock the chickens up. So I went out there the other night in our fenced-in area that's open for, all the chickens to come in and out of. Quackers was there. Quackers was there, along with every single one of their ducks and their goose was all in our pen. I'm like, what the hell is this? So their middle-aged, the middle son comes out because he's in charge of locking them up. I'm like, hey, Micah, your ducks and stuff are over here. I know. He's, 11, 12 years old. I know that angst. I know. I'm like, you need help getting them? He's like, I'll come get them. Now, I've seen Micah throughout the years come and get stuff out of our property as far as like a rogue chicken or something like that. And there's no polite way of doing it. He just runs over, arms agape. He's 6'1". He's a little skinny kid. Probably 80 pounds, probably, but the same weight as that crackhead, and runs at him like this. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. I'm like, dude, you're freaking out my chickens. You're freaking out my flock. I said, let's do this calmly. You get on that side with a stick, just like the shepherds did back in Jesus' days, herding the sheep and stuff. I'll get on this side, and we'll just kind of get these, 30 some odd duck and the goose out of our fenced-in area, out into the property, and I'll shut the gate, and then you can do whatever you want with them. That's up to you. Once you get out of my thing, I don't care. They can run around all day long. So I'm dealing with that. Rural, not third world problems, rural world. I can't say that right now. Farm world. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because the neighbor hates that they come over to our property. He hates when any chicken comes over to our property. And I say hates He's like, I feel so bad they're coming over. He's like, I don't want these chickens on your property. Not because of you, sorta. Dark closet somewhere in the background. But I don't want my chickens interfering with your flocks. Basically saying, we don't want you to play with our kid type deal. You ever heard that conversation growing up? Oh, you're not allowed to play. Don't go to Tommy's house. He'll, he's bad news. Well, that's what he's done. That's the way he assumes our chickens are. So he's tried everything he possibly can to keep his chickens off of our property. He's like, yeah, I know it's kind of annoying and stuff. So I was like, all right, that's fine. Do what you want. But what's happening is Micah, who's the middle boy, 11, 12 years old, he's got a younger brother, Isaiah, who's 4, 5, 6 years old. Let's say 5. My wife says, those boys terrorize those animals. And I say terrorize them. Like I said, he came over and he was, arms akimbo, trying to get the chickens out. They're all afraid of him. He picks them up all the time, and he doesn't stick their his thumb in their butt or anything like crazy like that. But I mean, I don't know what goes on over there. So for whatever reason, all of a sudden I got quackers over here, and then within a day or two after, me accepting quackers coming over here, I've got 30 some odd ducks and a goose now on our property that don't want to go to their property. So it starts there. Where am I at on time? So I think I said something to my neighbor, the airplane pilot guy, with the ducks and the I asked him if I could do something, and I don't think he understood what I said or where my intentions were, and I'll dive into that. I know I'm teasing you along. I'll dive into that when we come back, so stick around. I'll be right back. We broadcast this show out of the east side of Charlotte. It's a little town called Marshville. We're in Union County. But they consider it, I don't want to say they consider it Charlotte, but we get all the Charlotte news, Charlotte weather, anything Charlotte, because they're about, 50 miles from us, but still, we're just incorporated in their news feed. The Nick Koser that you see, the dancing weatherman, up in, I think he's in New York now. Yeah, he came from our area. He came from the Fox affiliate from our area, which is great. I remember seeing Nick Koser, and we love watching Nick Koser do the weather and stuff. And then when TikTok started taking off, 4 or 5 years ago, he was doing little dances while he was doing the weather and stuff. We all thought it was cute here in the Charlotte area because we watched Fox all the time in the morning. And, it started taking off, and then he just said, hey, guess what, guys? I'm going to go be famous somewhere else and get out of this, small little town. Now, for those of you who don't know, Charlotte is one of the meccas as far as banking. I think 5 of the 6 major bank corporations, their headquarters are here. My wife works for one of them. That's why we do all the stuff that we do here as far as her working from home and flying out all over the place and doing all that stuff. But there was a girl, an anchor. Is she an anchor? She's a desktop anchor. She might go out in the field now and then. Her name was Ann Wyatt Little. And the only thing I have to say about her, we used to watch her on Saturday morning. We'd wake up, cup of coffee. She was on the Saturday desk. She was the weekend crew. And she was on there with a black gentleman. And when I say a black gentleman, I use that term loosely. You know what Oreo cookie means? Black on the outside, white on the inside. He was he was dark skinned, but had this whole ha 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 ha. You're correct, Anne. And coming up next, a theater burns down and 15 children were burned. Stick around. You're listening to, whatever. She was the biggest bigot, this side-eye stuff that we saw on the weekend edition of her looking at this guy and judging him. So I said, fuck you. I'm not watching the Saturday news anymore because of this little blonde-haired, 5'2", little skinny white bitch. I said, I'm not watching you anymore because you make me feel uncomfortable because your partner up there, Jonathan, let's say his name's Jonathan, is doing his absolute goddamn best, and he's doing a great job doing it. He's doing a great job. You are just sitting there going, I can't believe, and he would say a joke like, and then the nurse said, who's working here? And then she would look at him and go, coming up next, and just do this whole, and I think she's from Georgia, this whole Georgia Southern, you're an idiot. All right, stick around. You're listening to Fox, Queen City, whatever. Well, somehow, I don't know whose beaver she had to lick or, cock that she had to go down on. She pulled Kamala Harris and ended up on the front desk. I don't know if it's by default. So many people move and so many people get transferred out. Paige, I forget what her name was on the front desk, and she got transferred out. She moved back to Texas or something. So they said, well, do we have another white girl on the staff? Yeah, Ann Wyatt Little. So Ann Wyatt Little gets the front desk. And they just brought in this gentleman by the name of Jason from Tennessee. Great guy. Good-looking guy. Great presenter. Does the news very well. Can read. Gets along with all the guests. Knows exactly what's going on. Had the whole, everyone's got a niche. He had crazy sock week, and he was wearing, like, crazy socks. So every week, every morning was like, oh, what socks are Jason wearing? And I was like, hey, on this. And he's got the 5 o'clock beard. And, he's got he's a good looking guy. Older guy, probably 47, 48 years old, been in the business for a while, but knows the drill, knows the routine. And Ann Wyatt Little is just sitting there, her little blonde, little bob haircut, and just, and I just want to take a hammer and hit her like a mallet. I don't want a hammer. I want the whole head. Kabam. So, now that I told you all that, saw a thing on the Queen City News Facebook page that Ann Wyatt is leaving. I told my wife, I could have sworn that she jumped up out of her chair and said, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Stupid bigot with all her fucking side-eye stuff. And she was doing like outside. Can you tell I'm passionate about this? Can you tell? She would do all these outside like shitty things, like during the hurricane, she was out there going, I'm standing outside of my townhouse and it's raining so hard. I have to go back inside because my dog needs to, So she's gone. And the reason why she says she left is that her husband, she's like, I've done my dream and I've followed my dream. And she's probably 32, 33 years old. I've done my dream. I've achieved all my goals and dreams. And now it's time for my husband because he got a job in Atlanta doing something that he loves to do, and so I'm stepping out of the limelight. I'm going to let him take his time in the spotlight, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. Fuck you. Ann Wyatt Little, look her up. Fuck her. Fuck her. I'm sorry. That's how, I don't hate a whole lot of people, and especially like when it comes to women or anything like that, females, I don't hate a whole lot. I say a whole lot, but I've never wanted to say fuck you to a female other than her because of her actions. She's just a disgusting person. I'm going to say it. You could share this all you want. She's a fucking disgusting person. Now, as far as me, I might have overstepped my boundaries when it comes to my neighbor. And I use that term loosely. I told you the story of, I get asked to volunteer to do the karaoke thing. Sure, no problem. Anything to help you guys out. Can I borrow your tractor? Because they don't have a tractor. They've got, as much property as we do. You need to buy a tractor. Okay, I'm sorry. They're only, the one that we have was like, I think it was $50,000 before you put the front end loader on it and the back end loader on it and all the other stuff. But we use it. We don't use it as much anymore because our property is pretty much set up where we can just use it to like bush hog like areas and stuff. But I digress. His is not as well developed as ours, so he borrows it all the time, which is fine. I don't mind. This needs to happen. This needs to happen. Make sure when you do this, your pressing the right buttons to make sure that everything works properly. So he borrows the tractor and he does all this stuff. Always brings it back. Always puts, if he's used it all day, he always puts, diesel back in it, kind of washes it down, rinses it off, make sure everything's good. So there's no complaints there. So there's something called chip drop. If you're not familiar with it, it is a free service. You sign up for it, and if you need mulch or something in your yard and you see all these like tree service people driving by, you're like going, where do they go with all that mulch? They basically take it somewhere and dump it in a landfill or something like that. If you sign up for it, they will actually drop that mulch off, or the whatever that they've shredded up, on your property free of charge. Drops off. They don't give you any time though. They don't get it. It's not a continuous thing. So my neighbor, I signed up for it. I got like 2 drops in the last 3 years. That's how, but he's very, very adamant about it because they do everything natural out there. They want to, save the planet and whatever they want to do. So he gets dump trucks full of mulch just piled up right there on the property line. And I'm like going, you could put this somewhere else instead of I got to look at this every day I come out. Anyways, that's his story. That's not mine. So when we had the karaoke party, he borrowed the tractor. So his wife said to him, I want all this mulch out of the front, that's piled up in the front driveway. And I say front driveway, it's off to the side. I want all this mulch gone before the guests get here. So yes, you can borrow the tractor. So he's borrowing the tractor and trying to get as much. Anyways, there's still, long story short, there's still a lot of fucking mulch there. So I said, hey man, I'm getting ready to redo the front entrance of the property here. I've got everything all killed and mapped out and edged out. I said, do you mind if I come over and get some of that mulch to kind of put down, to get the ground ready for plants and stuff? Help yourself. Okay. Next morning, go out there, fire up the tractor, driving around. And he said, if you could do me just one favor, if you could pull from our side of the property, so if they come with another truck, they can just drop it there instead of pulling from your side of the property. And I've got this half mulch thing in the middle of. I said, yeah, I can do that. No problem. So I'm pushing the mulch around, I'm bucking it up and dropping it, and bucking it up and dropping. I must have made 18 trips. I'm dumping, and the pile's getting smaller. I'm like, cool. I'm helping them out and doing all this stuff. And I'm like going, well, I still have to do that side of the property around the planter beds up front. And I kind of texted him and said, hey, you don't mind if I'm eating up all this mulch? And he comes out and goes, kind of was like, it's addicting, isn't it? Like he's waving me down like, it's addicting getting all this mulch and putting it places, isn't it? And I go, well, yeah, it's, I said, am I taking too much? He goes, well, you remember me telling you about we were expanding our garden from the 1/4 acre that they have. They're going to make another 1/4 acre, and they were going to use that mulch to do all that stuff. I said, yeah. He goes, we pay the guy, we give him like a $15, $20 tip every time he drops off mulch here. And I'm like, okay. I said, when are you going to start your garden? Oh, I don't know. We're not starting it yet. I'm like, okay. So should I stop taking the mulch out? He's like, yeah, because I don't know when they're going to come back by again. And, I give him a $15, $20 tip, to when he drops it off. I'm like, okay, so I'm done. I'm not taking any more. Well, I don't know when they're going to come back by and drop mulch off. And I said, you know what? I said, you know what you should do? I said, you should put a sign at the end of your driveway, drop mulch chips here, and just have it come, he's got a little snake driveway. I said, that's what you should do. And he's like, well, I'm not here all the time to see him and wave him down. I'm like going, okay, I'm misunderstanding. When you said help yourself, Mr. I use your free tractor all the time. And then I remember your wife saying, get this mulch out of here. Not that she's a witch or anything. She's like, I'd like all that mulch gone before, this weekend or something like that. Just something in passing. I said, I thought I was doing you a favor taking all this mulch out of here And did I overstep my boundaries? He's like, well, no, but we're trying to do A, B, and C. And I said, okay. I said, fine, no problem. I'll stop right now. And I'll put the, park the tractor. And Amy comes home, and my wife comes home, and she's like going, I thought you were going to mulch the front. I said, stop. I said, there's hidden politics here somewhere. I don't know what I've stepped in or what I've crossed over, but for whatever reason, I think I took too much mulch. It's something as simple as mulch. Because his family eats off the land. I probably said this to you before, but everything they make they make in the house. Everything they eat, they make at home. Or they go to Trader Joe's and get all organic stuff. All the bullshit. Fucking hippies. So I said, I think I overstepped my boundaries as far as taking the mulch. But when someone says, help yourself, and you can see my house and you can see the areas that I'm getting ready to do, because I explained to him, I said, we're redoing the front entrance, and it's 200 feet this way and 100 feet this way, and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to take all this mulch. Yeah, help yourself. Nope. He came out and put the kibosh on it, and I said, okay. And I haven't seen him since then. But he's been dealing with the whole Microsoft flight delays and all that stuff. But he's kind of like, hey, bud, can you stop? He's never told me that. But, I mean, in the back of his mind, like I said, he's got a dark closet somewhere. There's something going on that just doesn't, the pieces just don't match up right with society. I told you, I'm a one watching people and looking at people and seeing that there's something not right. Something is not normal. Something is not the normal routine of everyday life. And there's just something there. I can't put my finger on it yet. But I will. I will. All right, guys. That's going to do it for us this week. Okay. See you. Bye.